We always remember Dr. King for his work as a civil rights leader and really leading that movement. But the thing that I think we forget sometimes or don't even think about is that he was truly an interfaith leader. It started when Dr. King was a student, and he was in seminary, and he found this person named Mahatma Gandhi, and he fell in love with his use of Christian scripture to work towards nonviolent protest. So that's something that really began his interfaith work and sort of his story of interfaith work. And Dr. King has a great story and a long story, but what we should remember is his story of interfaith leadership. And today we'll be working on some of your storytelling, because that's so important in any work that we do, is to be able to tell our stories and know other people's stories. So we want you to think about the significance of that circle activity. So talk about that and talk about how it relates to your storytelling.
It's not a usual thing that right when you're meeting someone you start asking about or talking about your religion or theirs. Even in places where people are very open about religion, it's still rarely kind of just a conversation starter.
You got a little glimpse at people's stories and what's important to them. So it was a short time, but you got to know something about the person that, of course, hopefully helps spur conversations.
It's not necessarily finding out where a person is from, but how where they're from affects their beliefs about a certain issue.
As you keep doing this, you get better at sharing your story. And I noticed that like, as we kept going, you kind of distill down things that you want to share with people.
We also talked about not only seeking sort of new voices and new stories, but also rediscovering old stories and from new perspectives, rekindling old relationships, and reflecting on these friendships and the stories that we share within these relationships after new maturity and new perspective that time and growth brings.
Well, that was great. Thank you, everybody. I think we hope that was a great way to end it, and discovering new stories and reaching back to past stories and reaching back to hearing a story a different way. So the story of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., hearing his story in an interfaith way. What does that mean to you, and what does that do for an interfaith movement? For yourselves going forward, I hope that you'll keep your story in mind and that you'll tell the story of interfaith to folks who aren't in this room and to folks who can get involved down the road.